Left and right sides of the coin of concentrated control. October 26, 2011. Wall Street's strong profits last quarter, while the unemployment rate is greater than 9%, is indicative of the disconnect between the top 5% concentrating the nation's wealth and the people of the United States. And that goes for the Democratic Party, too. Quantitative easing of money supply at the print shop bailed the rich out from their 2008 bad debt. Quantitative easing of an improving wage for labor market and economic egalitarianism put millions of Americans out of work and converted them into scrambling unemployed searching for crumbs. The present economy is nearly ideal for wealthy owners of the corporate world, with a docile domestic population struggling for work, dead labor unions, network financial and corporate investments, instant global communication, global inventory management, shuffling avoidance of tax paying, and a cheap global labor force to invest in. Exporting cheaply made foreign goods to the USA allows a calculus for the concentration of American wealth of global corporate elites soaking up U.S. consumer cash to redistribute abroad in foreign factory construction. Presidential candidate Rick Perry wanted a 45% tax cut for the richest and a 100% tax increase on the poor. Left and right are largely obsolete terms in relation to the vanishing democracy of the USA once at the center of the politics. Both left and right work hard against the middle to create concentrated wealth and or power, as if they were squeezing a lemon. Left and right are examples of the traditional political power of a ruling class over the masses without meaningful democratic power, free enterprise, or egalitarian distribution of capitalization. The American and corporate ruling classes have exploited military spending to prop up a deficient military, industrial, economic sector the past decade with support from Chinese loans. If the Chinese loans to fund U.S. military boondoggles abroad halt the right, will seek to squeeze more lemon juice from the turnip of social spending domestically with sweating blood as a result of some sectors. The solution for recovery of the U.S. economy from the new aristocracy of concentrated wealth and puppeteers of political power in the Democratic Party would be as revolutionary as the redistribution of wealth and power by the founders from British aristocrats to Americans, free thenceforward to take the land and settle it for themselves. Democracy without free enterprise for all seems to collapse into tyranny and concentrated wealth. The United States should defend free enterprise against the concentration of wealth. FDR realized it as the correct way to restore natural liberty to the people of the United States. Taxes on the rich should be set at 90%. No one should be free to invest in more than 3 corporations in order to prevent networked market manipulation and skimming. No corporation should have more than 10,000 employees. If the owners want to increase revenues, they should increase quality instead of quantity. Competition should develop between corporations. Today's corporations have a marked trait of increasing quantity over quality. Business expansion means encouraging sales of disposable goods and consuming as much of scarce remaining planetary natural resources as quickly as possible. The large multinational corporate approach actually encourages scarcity of natural resources in order to drive up costs. On a planet of finite resources, that practice approaches a culturally suicidal level of introspective greed. The USA should seek to rectify capitalism to a limited scale that encourages thousands of new, smaller quality businesses. It should secure its Mexican border and get all the people on and above-the-table work bases that will not corrupt labor wage values and public accountability in the United States. USA should have good social safety nets and food income and medicine, yet seek to privatize more of public education. Excess government income can be invested in restorative environmental work and the scientific battle to keep the ecosphere intact and healthy. A new era of free enterprise with a far more egalitarian distribution of capital will arrest the wealthy's calculus of keeping 30 million Americans unemployed and 47 million on food stamps as unit tactics to create political compliance. Redistribution as a buzzword of the rich is itself a straw man argument. America's rich and their toady broadcast sycophants seem to be so worried about survival and comfort that they think they need billions of years' worth of savings with concentrated wealth in order to assure their silky survival. They are a clique of intellectual cowards afraid of ecological reformation. One can imagine a better free society with unlimited amateur athletics, good basic access to food, and smaller, ecologically well-designed, affordable shelters with excellent, cheap public education and vouchers for private education. Ordinary radio should have thousands of free education channels with high-quality knowledge broadcast perennially so the human race might actually get smarter and really settle the solar system and move to the stars. Redistribution of political and economic opportunity is what every revolution is about. Yet that doesn't mean that the savings accounts of the rich need to be taken. That sort of redistribution is just a one-time thing anyway that soon disappears like the morning dew in summer. What is Wanted instead is a new reformed free enterprise environment that's strong government ecospheric protection and recovery guidelines and guidance until society learns for itself the rational paths of sustainable ecospheric economics methods. The United States today, culturally, has learned to be something of a dysfunctional infrasocial striving agent for the concentration of wealth. Even the Chinese communists passed a law letting no foreign corporation own more than 49% of a Chinese business. Though, by networking of business, the Chinese economy will still become gullivered up by the global elites of wealth. Americans should defend their economic interests from the hostile takeover by the right and the left. Americans can leave the murderers striving to concentrate wealth at the elite's rational and moral decency, replacing with planetary perversion and perennial wars, ecosphere decay, and the usurpation of private property and business by corporate acquisitions and control of about everything. Unfortunately, neither major political party is running a candidate with a clue about what it is, except for Mitt Romney now, who does seem to have an idea about reforming economy. It's hard to say if he actually would if he gets elected. The best available candidate seems to be Mitt Romney. The other candidates appear to be followers of Babylon the Great. I wrote in 1992 of the Reagan-Bush agenda's legacy of $5.3 trillion of public debt and suggested that any Democratic candidate besides Clinton or Harkins would be good enough. I wrote in 1996 that Bob Dole was the man of the hour. In each case, Americans could have spared themselves a lot of trouble historically by voting for the better candidate. Ralph Nader, during many of those years, would have resolved America's leadership issue. Now, with a day so late and $15 trillion of public debt, I haven't confidence in the political judgment of the electorate to restore full employment, minimal use of necessary emergency programs, and conservation of the ecosystem.